Now we want to update category data in MySQL table, so first in front-end edit category component. We want to write JavaScript for send edit form data to Node.js Backend API. So first we have goes to edit category component file. And first we have to write constant handleSubmit equal to an async arrow function with event parameter. So here, we have defined a function to handle the form submission for updating a category. Next we have to write event.prevent default method. So here, we have stopped the default form submission behavior that would reload the page and keeping the app smooth and single page like. After preventing the default action, so we have to write set error with an empty string. So here, we have cleared any previous error messages in the user interface, which giving a fresh start for this submission attempt. Then we have to write an if condition for checking if category name is falsy or not. So here, we have checked if the category name input is empty, to ensure the user provides a valid name before sending the update. Inside the if block, we have to write set error function with a required field message. So here, we have displayed an error in the user interface if the category name is missing, and it will alerting the user to fill it in. Next we have to write return statement. So here, we have stopped the function early if the category name is empty, and preventing the API call, and keeping the form from submitting invalid data. Then we have to write a try block for the API call. So here, we have started a safe block to handle the update request, and catching any errors like network issues or server problems, without breaking the app. Inside the try block, we have to write constant token equal to LocalStorage.getItem with token key. So here, we have retrieved the JWT authentication token from browser storage to include in the API request for secure access. Below this, we have to write await Axios.put method with 3 parameter. In first parameter, we have to define backend API for handle update data request with category ID. In second parameter, we have to define form data like category name and category status. In third parameter, we have to define headers, and under headers, we have to define authorization token key. So here, we have sent a PUT request to the backend API to update the category with the given ID, including the updated name and status from the form, and the bearer token for authentication. After a successful API call, we have to write navigate function call with /categories path. So here, we have redirected the user back to the category management page, where the updated category will appear in the data tables list. Then we have to write a catch block with error parameter. So here, we have caught any errors from the Axios PUT request, like invalid token, duplicate names, or server issues, then it will be handled them smoothly. Inside the catch block, we have to write set error with a conditional error message. So here, we have displayed a specific error from the backend, if available, or a generic message for other issues, which showing feedback in the user interface. So here, our front-end code is ready. Now we have goes to backend code. So we have goes into category routes file, and here we want to write backend code for update category data. First we have to write router.put method for the /categories/:ID path with authenticate token middleware and a validation array. So here, we have created a PUT endpoint to update a specific category by its ID, which ensuring that the user is logged in with the authenticate token middleware and validating the input data. Next, inside the validation array, we have to write param validator for ID with is integer method and a custom error message. So here, we have checked that the category ID in the URL is a valid integer, and it will sending an error if it is not, and keep database queries safe. After validating the ID, we have to write body validator for category name with trim and not empty methods with custom error message. So here, we have ensured the category name is not empty, and it will remove extra spaces and returning an error if the name is missing, which ensure valid input. Then we have to write body validator for category status with is in method. So here, we have checked that the status is either active or inactive, and sending an error for invalid values, which keeping the status field correct. After the validation rules, we have to write an async arrow function with request and response parameters. So here, we have defined the main handler for the PUT request, which marked as async to handle database updates with await by using the validated inputs. Inside the handler, we have to write constant errors equal to validation result with request parameter. So here, we have collected any errors from the validation checks to ensure the ID, name, and status are valid before proceeding. Next we have to write an if condition for checking if errors is empty is false. So here, we have checked if there are any validation errors, then it will stopping the process if the input data is not valid to avoid bad database operations. If errors exist, so we have to write return with response.status 400.json containing error messages. So here, we have sent a 400 bad request response with error messages like invalid category ID or category name is required to the frontend, and it will halting further processing. After validation, we have to write destructuring assignment to get ID from request.params. So here, we have extracted the category ID from the URL, and it will ready to use it in the database query. Next we have to write destructuring assignment to get category name and category status from request.body. So here, we have pulled the updated category name and status from the form data sent by the frontend, and preparing them for the database update. Then we have to write a try block for database operations. So here, we have started a safe block to handle database queries, which catching errors, like connection issues to keep the server running smoothly. Inside the try block, we have to write a query to check for duplicate category names. So here, we have counted rows in the category table, where the name matches, but the ID is different, using a parameterized query to prevent SQL injection, and ensure no duplicate names. After the query, we have to write an if condition for checking if the count is greater than 0. So here, we have checked if another category already has the same name, so it will preventing duplicate category names in the system. If a duplicate is found, we have to write return statement with response.status 409.json method with an error message. So here, we have sent a 409 conflict response to the frontend, which telling it the category name is already taken, and it will stopping the update. Next we have to write an update query to modify the category in the database. So here, we have updated the category name and status in the category table for the given ID by using a parameterized query for security and accuracy. After the update, we have to write an if condition for checking if affected rows is 0. So here, we have checked if no rows were updated, that means the category ID was not found in the database. If no rows were affected, we have to write return with response.status 404.json method with an error message. So here, we have sent a 404 not found response to the frontend, which indicating the category does not exist, and it will stopping further processing. Next we have to write response.json with a success message. So here, we have sent a JSON response to the frontend for confirming the category was updated successfully and completing the request. Then we have to write a catch block with error parameter. So here, we have caught any database errors like connection problems or query failures, so it will handle them without crashing the server. Next we have to write response.status 500.json method with a generic error message. So here, we have sent a 500 internal server error response to the frontend with minimal details and keeping the system secure while informing about the failure. So here, our backend code is also ready for update category data in database. Now in Node terminal, first we have restart Node server by run this command. Now in browser, first we have refresh web page, and here we can see single category data in form. Now we have make necessary changes in category name. Then after we have click on update button, so after click on update button, here we can see that category data has been updated, and here in jQuery data tables, we can updated category data. And here, we can perform soft delete operation by change category status from active to inactive. So here, our category management module is completed under this React point of sale application. Next we will start sub-user management module.